Hello and welcome to another episode of What's on the Pile. With me is Wagner,
Mutante, mutante, mutante.
Shane,
Hey,
Jane,
Hi.
and Jenner will be joining us later. He is having some issues with his internet and has a Windows update. So we thought we'd just go ahead and not do Accion Mutante first. First, we would do stuff we've seen. So, what has everybody seen? I know of one big movie we could talk about it, which is Avatar, which I just finished.
Right,
But let's get everything else out of the way because I feel like that's going to be a longer conversation.
Everything else. Okay.
And Jenner might actually have quite a lot to contribute to that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
was it his first time watching it too?
He saw it a couple weeks before me, I think.
Well, so was I the only one who saw it when it first came out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have not.
You told
seen
us to wait
so-
for video, and we did.
Okay. Was I right? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
it. Yeah, and in a super rare event, my wife went to see Avatar in the theaters, and I have yet to see it. So that's not normally the way that goes.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, Shane, let's start with you. What did you watch in the
So
last 2 weeks? I guess.
So I think I've only watched one movie, which I saw in theaters. Which I saw Bottoms.
Oh, how's that?
Oh, really? I just
was,
heard a podcast about it.
It was great. So it's starring Ayo Edebiri and Rachel Sennett. So for those of you who don't know, it's about these two girls who are it's a high school comedy about these two girls who are losers, I guess, and they're both gay and they're trying to impress their girlfriends, or they're not their girlfriends, but their love interests. And somehow, I can't remember, it's been a couple of weeks now, they do this by somehow inadvertently starting a fight club at school, which is, it's a self-defense club, but it's a fight club. Their faculty advisor is played by Marshawn Lynch, the football player.
Oh, okay.
This is the kind of movie. So I love this movie. It's hard R high school comedy. It's the kind of movie
don't take
where
Amelia. Why are all LGBT movies hard R's? We'll talk about that later. Go on.
This is the kind of movie where when people are killed, you don't think, oh, that got dark. You think that was fucking great.
Oh.
This is a movie where I think multiple bombs go off in a school, planted bombs, and it's a punchline.
Wow.
So that's the pitch. That's where this movie.
This is the level of Heathers.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like Heather's.
But Heathers is dark, though, I feel like. This movie is not dark at all. Even when people are killed, it's like
I didn't know
somehow
people would be killed.
It's somehow delightful. It's
Okay. You are really selling me on this.
I was going to ask you because Amelia is she likes to be they them as her pronouns. She is part of the LGBT community, and I've had a hell of a time finding films for her to watch.
So if you're worried about sex stuff, there's not much sex in this. It's more it's not a raunchy comedy.
Is it cursing and violence?
Yes, cursing. The violence, it's cartoonish violence.
Okay.
Considering the things you've shown her, I wouldn't be worried about the violence.
Yeah, and don't be worried about the cursing either. She just hears it from us.
And like the whole
More jest than me.
The fact, if you're worried about any sex stuff, it's just
I'm not.
All there really is that their love interests are same gender. That's really all there is to it.
Which is something. It's something she'll relate to.
It's just
she'll enjoy seeing.
Just the way it is. It's not like a big thing.
But
it's almost like
I started looking at movies to show her, and it's been so hard finding them because but I'm a cheerleader, fantastic, great movie. I showed her that, but let's think of a couple of others. Well, everything John Waters has ever done.
Yeah, I mean, is that on the watch pile or the not watch pile?
Most of that is on the not watch yet pile.
That's what I figured.
No. I mean, I've never seen Serial Mom, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, Serial Mom is good.
I think that's the one I want to show her so badly.
And I've met John Waters multiple times because he used to host the Maryland Film Festival that we used to go to every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would always. So I've said hi to him multiple times. He's very kind. He just says like, hey. But yeah, have I seen any of his movies? Shoot, I can't even think of. I've never seen Pink Flamingos. I've never seen
neither.
Serial Mom.
You know
That's
what?
I've seen
I've
I
only
have.
seen part. I've seen like 2/3 of Pink Flamingos. I've never
Is
finished.
that on the
Never.
pile?
Yeah, it is now on the pile.
Oh,
All right then, let's
what
do
have
it.
we wrought?
I don't have a problem. Let's do it.
So yeah, that's all I watched. It's great. I highly recommend it. But you can wait for video. I mean, it's a high school comedy.
There's so few movies that like Ginger Snaps. There's another one
Oh,
that
Yeah,
I
that's a
can't.
good one.
I'm not sure if I can show her yet because of some of
Ooh.
the weirder sex stuff that happens in the later half of the movie when she gets really
when she
nasty.
gets wolfy.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm
springing to
trying
mind.
to think
I
of
mean,
some good ones.
Ginger. I love Ginger Snaps.
Yeah, it's so
Like,
good.
that is
Yeah.
Yeah, I
way
like
up
that
there
one a
on
lot.
my list.
Yeah.
I've never seen
This-
the sequel, prequel, whatever the second one is. I've
Of
never
what?
seen that one.
The one
Ginger
that
Snaps.
the one
Oh,
that takes
Ginger
place
Snaps.
in like 1718 or something.
So there's a
Yeah.
sequel
Or
and a
1818.
prequel, right? Or
Yeah,
is
there's
the
a
sequel
sequel
the
and a
prequel?
prequel.
Okay,
No,
I've
there's
seen
3
neither.
movies. There's a sequel. There's a sequel that isn't really involved. I have not seen either of them.
I've seen the
I think
prequel.
I'm a little scared because I like the first one so much that
No.
it's to that point. I've heard that many people have told me, no, you're okay to watch it. It's going to be great.
The prequel
just-
is
and I haven't gotten around to it.
fucking great. It's just a great movie.
Okay.
It makes a great double feature with Ravenous.
Okay,
I love Ravenous.
which we did for the show.
We did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love
For the first
Ravenous.
time for the show.
They were actually playing the soundtrack for that. I never recognize soundtracks. They were playing the soundtrack for that in the Book Nook in Atlanta, and I'm like, wait, why do I know this music? But yep.
Yeah.
But yeah. If you hadn't sprung it on me, I might have been able to come up with a few titles
Yeah,
for
I'm
you,
looking at my
but I'm
shelf
not.
if I have anything else.
I'll go next then because I had a
Okay.
fairly eventful. I only watched 2 movies other than the ones that we're talking about tonight.
Oh, did you want me to talk about Final Fantasy 16 at all? Because I mentioned that I finished that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Like you asked me how easy it is. So I think I died 3 times during the 60 hours I played it. When you die, so you have potions. Those are your main healing item, and you can find them in the world, or you go buy them, whatever. If you run out, you're just fucked. If you die, you respawn. The boss's health doesn't come back. All of your potions are refilled. So, in fact, I realized that the easiest way to refill your potions in the game is just to die, so you don't have to spend your money. It doesn't matter how many you had when you died; they're all refilled when you come back.
Are you penalized in any way
When you
for
die?
dying?
No, if you die during a hunt, you got to start over. So you have to, those are usually a trek. So actually, the only thing I didn't do was all the hunts. I did all the side quests. I did everything else except for the hunts. It was okay. I mean, I regret paying $70 for it. It's very button mash. It does have the one thing I hate the most in video game combat, which is the stagger mechanic.
Yeah.
That's the reason I dropped out of Final Fantasy 13. Which, if you don't know what stagger is, it's the enemies don't take any damage basically until you
break
bring down the stagger bar.
Yeah,
and
you
then
have to break
like
them first.
And then you have like a 10-15 second window to do actual damage, which usually isn't that much. And
It's
it
like
just
a
makes
fighting game mechanic.
Yeah, and they do that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I hate it. 16 has it. I actually I watched the anime Sword Art Online one time, which I enjoyed.
Sorry.
I love that show.
I like it.
Really?
I bought one.
Yeah.
I bought one of the games because it's the premise is you're stuck in a video game. I started doing the fighting tutorial. As soon as I saw that it was a stagger mechanic, I uninstalled the game. I didn't even try it. That's how much I hate stagger. And this game's full of it, and it's all cutscenes. It's not as Game of Thronesy as you might think. That's just sort of like the setup.
I was told it was like a sexless Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there's a part where they're sitting naked on the beach and they're just having a conversation, and then it cuts to something else. Like the 2 main characters, they're obviously like into each other or whatever, but they're naked for warmth, I think, and they're just talking about what's happening, like the actual mission and stuff like that.
And all their bits and pieces are artfully covered.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, how about them Cubs?
Yep. But the story itself is there's crystals and there's a godlike thing that is trying to destroy the world. And like Game of Thrones is
Wow.
just sort of window dressing. All the intrigue. There is like the way it's set up is that every crystal is like there's a nation based around it. So to go get the crystal, you have to wade into that part of the world and get involved in the whatever is happening there. That's basically it. It was all right. It's
Did you get
I liked
any
it better
finger
than,
cramp on like because you have to hit buttons very
yes,
quickly?
It's a lot of mashing. You have some magical skills. You could equip it with 3. They're called icons in this. I just kept calling them espers. You can equip up to 3, and they have cooldowns. So once you're out of those, you just button mash X or square or whatever. So yeah, it's a lot of button mashing. There are a lot of very big kaiju fights in it. That's kind of the highlight, I guess. But they're also 30 minutes long each. Like at one point, you're fighting Bahamut, and you run out of space on the planet, so you go into outer space and fight. Like it just keeps on escalating. Everything just gets bigger and bigger until you're in outer space.
It gets too big for the planet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wait, what's the anime? What the robot driving a robot driving a robot?
Driving a robot, like
a guy driving a robot driving a robot driving a robot. Oh shit, the people. I will think of it later. Never mind.
Okay. That sounds like a brilliant concept.
Oh, fuck.
Giant Robo? I don't know.
No, keep going. I'll come up with it.
Anyways, so I finished that. Now I'm playing Starfield, which I'm loving, but it's basically if you like Bethesda, you'll like it. If you don't like Bethesda games, it's not going to change your mind. It's Skyrim in space.
Okay.
Gurren Lagann.
I don't even have. I want to play it, but
it's I love it.
I only have a PS5 and a Mac, so I'm not.
Yeah, it's an
play it
Xbox exclusive. But
yeah.
it's great.
Oh, is it? It is an exclusive? Oh, because
For
Bethesda. Yeah, that's right.
And PC. Apparently, also, if you have a PC, it only runs well if you have an AMD GPU.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get it.
Jenner's brother Bob is playing it, and I was asking him all about it.
If you like the Bethesda formula, it's great, which I do. Like before I started playing like Souls games and stuff, that kind of game was my bread and butter.
It's too bad that I have nothing to play it on.
Yep, same.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I don't want to upgrade my video card. Those
then
things are
don't. But
expensive.
you can't play Starfield. Sorry.
Like I get excited if I make $1,000.
The series I was trying to think of was Gurren Lagann.
I think I know that one.
The main character in it starts driving he has a mech, and the mech gets into another mech, and that mech gets into another mech, and pretty soon they're throwing galaxies at each other. So that's what it made me think of. Sorry.
All right. That's all. I've just been playing games, finishing that, playing Starfield. Looking forward to Lies of P coming out next week.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Oof.
I actually played a new game, and not one of my old ones recently, and I have completely forgotten what it was.
Oh dear Lord!
Yeah,
memorable was it?
I guess so. We usually play remember that motorcycle game we played? Yeah, I played that.
Bike.
No,
it was Excite Bike.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, but in 3D. Yes, it was Trials. I played that with my kids so much.
Do you do the same stupid shit that we did? Where you just jump off the bike and laugh at the sound he makes?
But they took away your ability to fling yourself and win. Like they turned that off. They fixed the bug. So
damn it.
You know how you could launch yourself off your motorcycle at the very end and the body would fling past the other person and it would count as a win?
Yeah.
That was the best part.
Well, when you fall off the stage, does the camera still follow you all the way to the ground? And you're like, no! That was also the best part.
Yeah, it was. It was.
The camera would follow you all the way down to the ground.
No, it doesn't have any of that anymore. And there's no way to get it back because all you can do is play it on digital hardware that is always going to have the most recent version. So we can never, ever play that again, which kind of sickens me.
So it's just a bike game now.
Yeah.
Just like a...
Well, the kids love it, and they have unicorns and cats riding unicorns in it now, and you can build your own tracks,
Okay.
and it gets
Okay.
really wild. It's actually still a really fun game. I'm just
Okay.
sad they took out the janky stuff because I love janky stuff in video games. That's what makes a video game unique,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. Anyway,
Alrighty.
I'll go ahead. What did I watch? Okay, so last Wednesday I went to see Tenacious D in concert for the first time.
Oh yeah.
I know.
The first time.
The
Oh.
first time.
Oh,
Yep.
so jealous.
It was amazing. Everything about it was incredible. It got me on another Jack Black kick, and those happen once every few weeks. So I showed the kids School of Rock.
Oh yeah.
Which is just a
Never
brilliant.
seen it.
Ooh.
Really?
I know. I should have. There's no good reason. I just haven't.
It's just an episode of Tenacious D without Kyle Gass and a longer plot.
Yeah.
That's
It's
essentially
not
it.
selling me on it.
Oh, do you not like Tenacious D?
No, I like Tenacious D. I just think Kyle Gass is essential.
Yeah. I would agree, but
Okay.
it works, especially with Joan Cusack. She's very good in it.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, I showed them Be Kind, Rewind.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a
I need to
while.
watch that. I haven't
It's been
seen
a while.
that.
Yeah.
It's so good. God, it's
I have it on the wall here.
it's very emotional. It's very Michel Gondry. And Jack Black is fun in that too. He always kind of does his shtick. So his performances are very similar, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that because that's what entertains me about him, his personality. So I'm good with that. Mos Def, however, is really good in that movie. Like, I forgot how good that dude was in that movie. He's very incredibly emotional. Are you?
I don't think he goes by Mos Def anymore, right? He goes by Yassine Bey or something.
He does go by his given name.
I don't know if that's his given name. It might be a different name that he chose. I don't know.
Huh.
It doesn't matter. It's just a random tangent.
Yeah, but I highly recommend it. Jenner, you've joined us.
I had a bunch of computer crap to deal with, but
You're
I
super clear now.
well, all right. Like I say, I think I just need to make a point of rebooting about a half an hour before the program, just categorically, without fail in future. But I'm here now, and that's hopefully what.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh, that couldn't have happened at a more appropriate point.
It was
Wow.
perfect timing. God, the comedic timing on that was beautiful.
And he doesn't even know, so he can't appreciate it.
Oh.
Well, does he see us all being like, no? I wonder what he sees.
Yeah. I don't know. So those were the two movies I saw.
Okay.
That's
Jen,
it.
do you want to go ahead? Or?
I can. I saw so much crap over the past couple weeks. It's not even funny. I've just been binging stuff like crazy. Watched the end of What We Do in the Shadows. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah,
Damn it.
I still need to watch that show.
I should have said I watched a bunch of TV shows too, like finishing Better Call Saul and What We Do in the Shadows.
It was only TV shows. I didn't watch any movies.
Okay.
But all the K-dramas. I started a new one. I can't even remember the name of it right now, but it was really good. But I made a rookie mistake because they are doing it 2 episodes a week. I watched the first 8 episodes. It was like, I gotta wait for more. So anyway, but it was very good. About a guy with a curse and some girl with a magic book and whatever. It was fantastic. But but before that, I watched a couple. I think I told you last time we were on that I was watching one that I was afraid wasn't going to end well, but it was kind of done like American indie film style. Mm-hmm. Well, I finished it. Fantastic. It did end well.
Oh, good.
So I liked the actor so much that I watched the next one in the series, and that was equally as good, maybe even better. And then I can't remember the name of it either. Oh, it's killing me. I liked it.
Yeah, you told it. I remember. I remember
something
you
in the rain,
about that.
and then the other one was One Spring Night.
Okay.
And that actor is so good. So I was
Bye,
like,
Jenner.
well, let's see what else he's done. Sorry, Jenner. What else has this guy done? And I watched, and I highly recommend it to everybody here. DP. It's Deserter Pursuit. It's about young men in the Korean military. It's mandatory for
I'm
2
I'm
years.
glad you went a little bit further with the title because
Yeah, I
that
know,
stands for
right?
a lot of stuff.
It is not dual
Yeah.
penetration. It's not, but it's called DP.
Or director
Deserter
of
Pursuit.
photography, or
Okay. But anyway, it is remarkable. There are 12 episodes, about an hour each. It's 2 seasons, and this guy, it's so gritty. You could use it to drive across Canada in a snowstorm in winter.
And then...
It is, and it's
I
so
like
good.
that.
It's so good. It's so good. I can't even be. But I will say, Nate, it does have an abusive father in it, and
Okay.
but I mean, well, he's abusive to his wife. Just
is
gonna let you
he?
know, and it's not in there a lot, and
Uh,
and he is used for, he is the evil guy. He is
Okay.
absolutely
He's not
the bad
redeemed
guy.
or anything like
Oh
that.
God, no,
Okay.
never,
Good.
never.
Okay.
But
Okay.
and it's not a lot of it, but I'm just letting you know. And there is a lot of abuse in the military, so you're going to see a lot of abuse there too. But everything is better in the end. I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to go ahead and wreck it a little bit by saying that they do figure it out a little bit
Okay.
by the end. But you can't like make systemic changes to a huge system,
Yeah.
But it is so good. All the acting top notch. Everybody in it, it's absolutely brilliant, and I can't say more about it. I love it so much. So other than that, yeah, and I've seen other things too. And Little Women. That's another K drama on Netflix,
Oh,
and it has really very little to do with the Louisa May Alcott
Oh,
story.
I
Well.
was
It's okay,
really
you got
excited.
3 sisters. Well, you got 3 sisters, and one of them is named I can't remember something.
Joe,
Joe.
Amy.
Joe, yeah, there's one that's sort of like all their names sound a little bit like that, but it's modern day, and the girls are just trying to, well, they're all poor, obviously, and they're kind of dealing with some sort of mystery plot. It's good. It's good. It's not my favorite thing I've ever seen, but I'm slogging through it.
Mm.
And the actors and actresses are all doing fine, just fine.
Okay.
But yeah, but Jenner, I was just telling everybody here, I am going to recommend it to you on Netflix. DP, all right, Deserter Pursuit.
Uh-huh.
I've got Netflix on right now. I'm gonna
On
Just,
Netflix.
just
And
keep,
it is,
just keep telling yourself that.
that's what it is, Deserter Pursuit. Had a license plate that said, what was it? You got DP4RX. And it was like the one I got off the line. Like I went through the line. I was like, just give me anything. And yeah, and that's what it was. And it was handicapped too. It had a wheelchair for my ex-husband on it.
Wow.
So that was a lot.
Wow.
No, you're the one that pointed it out to me. I didn't think anything of it. You were like, you need to get that changed.
We were
James.
all
You really
thinking
need to
it.
get that changed.
Yeah.
Everybody was
Yeah.
thinking it.
I didn't
Okay.
know.
Hopefully, Andy is here to stay now.
Hopefully, I have clamped down every background thing that I could possibly do without hopefully making the system too unstable. So hopefully, knock wood. Anyway, hi everybody.
Hello. We're doing who's seen what. We're down to you and Wagner.
Alrighty. Shall I go first, or you want to tackle it, Andy?
Well, I figure it might be a good idea for me to get it out of the way while I appear to have a stable connection, if that's all right. Let's see. I don't know if I remember to mention last time we were on that right before the move we got to cross the Spider-Verse.
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
We
We
talked
did.
about that.
Yeah, you did. You talked about
Yeah, we talked about it. Okay, so I got that. Let's see. Finally saw Babylon 5: The Road Home, the animated movie that just came out. And given my personal relationship and affection with that series, I was basically tearing up in the opening credits, and nothing had even happened yet. But really, really joyous little movie. And highly recommended. If you like Babylon 5, it will be completely incomprehensible to anybody who's not reasonably conversant with the series. does have one of the funniest bits of fourth wall breaking I have ever seen, which is, believe it or not, a reference to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and one character saying that this invokes copyright problems they're not well equipped to deal with. But amazing, funny, beautiful little movie. Terrific animation. The people doing the voices of the characters whose originating actors had passed on did a marvelous job. Just a beautiful time. If Babylon 5 is your series, like it is mine. Also, saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I heard that was good.
I watched that. I did see that.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh no!
Look at
No!
but what a
Perfect
great
frame,
freeze
too.
frame. Look at that. He's oh.
No.
You were
No.
frozen
Oh,
on the
you're back.
best frame ever.
You're back,
You're back now.
You're back. Oh,
And
no.
you're frozen.
Okay. I probably just need to suck it up and get something like one of the power line Ethernet adapters like we had in the old place, because this is getting a little bit ridiculous. Either that or just a stronger Wi-Fi.
You may need to cut video.
Oh, that's an idea. You could cut
If
video.
you cut video, maybe the traffic will let you through.
Try
I don't
this.
know.
Also, when you come over tomorrow, you could just grab a couple of those power line adapters because I
There
am
you
not using them all.
Can we hear you?
Well, I thought Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was
True.
just all right.
Oh, that's not a ringing endorsement.
It's
I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was amazing or anything.
the thing. It was a little too long. Didn't need the opening sequence at all.
I hated the opening sequence.
Yeah, it was so dumb. Just weird and off-putting. And
Did you think it looked like shit, the whole thing?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
It was
really?
rubber, but he has because they put this young Indiana Jones makeup on him, but they keep his like 802-year-old voice.
Yeah, the voice. Yep.
And so he's
So
like,
weird.
Did they have the De Niro moment in The
Or he's
Irishman that
walking.
I keep going on about?
where
Yeah,
he's
where-
actually moving. He's pretty spry for 87, I want to say.
Well, there's a point where he's supposed to be curb stomping someone, and you're like, no, this is an old man who's worried about his knees.
Yeah, whatever, the Irishman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Irishman. Oh, sorry, did I say that wrong? Yeah, go ahead.
No, you said it.
Okay.
No, but I think so. You can tell some of his, but he's spry. I mean, like, it's a lot better than that De Niro scene. It's much better than that.
Okay, that's good at least.
But it's wholly unnecessary, and I'm kind of assuming that for some of those they used a body double.
Probably.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's how they do it with the Star Wars shows. Oh, he's
And he's
back.
No, he's
Okay, Dial of Destiny.
Dial of Destiny, really all right. Not great, but
Exactly what Nate said. Good
That is-
job.
I've been
almost
hearing,
verbatim.
It was enjoyable.
I did not feel my time was wasted.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it was okay.
I want to say that the last 30 minutes was batshit enough for me to be like, oh, there's some semblance of a cool movie in here.
Yeah, no, the last 30 minutes.
Oh no! Where it descends into chaos, and it reminded me of the end of Battlestar Galactica.
I wish I don't.
Really that bad?
Who here has seen it? Everybody or no?
I have not seen
not me.
it.
Okay, I don't want to spoil the. I wish it ended in a different way. It would have been so much cooler, and it would have been a great send off to his character if they ended a certain way. But I guess they just weren't willing to go quite that far. I bet you there was a version where a draft where they ended the way I'm thinking of. Nate, I think Nate, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The problem. Correct.
What? Not getting any of that. Just
Nope.
No, we're not
Just
getting
bleep.
it.
Boing,
some
boing,
bleeps.
boing.
Bing, bing.
Boing, boing.
Sorry.
All
Problem.
right,
Go ahead.
Am I
no.
okay? So I'm voice.
Your voice is a bit in and out too. Welcome to the internet.
This is what happens when you get people doing live shows on webcams everywhere in the world.
Yep.
I guess that's the way we communicate as humans now, so I'm trying.
Yeah.
Well, at least we
Yeah.
can see other people. That's an
Yeah,
improvement.
that is an improvement.
Video phones. We all laughed. We said they'd never make them, and yet here we are.
Oh, I always thought that idea was cool as shit. Like to see somebody. They had that in Gremlins too. They had the
Mhm.
little LCD screens, uh,
Mhm.
and they would phone each other, and there would be the video on it. That movie was so far ahead of its time.
I
in
love
some ways.
Gremlins too.
Yeah,
Gremlins 2 is fun.
great movie.
All right.
I can't
Well,
believe they
they
actually
had him in.
let him do that. Like everything he wanted to do in that movie, they just let him do it. They're like, all right, Joe Dante, just do whatever the fuck you want.
You made us $6 billion with Gremlins 1.
I will be
Yeah.
back
Okay, do
in
it.
30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Keep
We time
talking.
him.
Keep
Okay.
talking.
So, I mean, should we move on to Wagner, or should we just give up on Jennifer now, or?
Wagner has way too much shit to talk about.
Well, if we get Jenner back, we need to talk about the Accion Mutante exam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We will cut me off if we do get Jenner back in time. So I have a stack of movies here because I went traveling and I always take a stack of movies with me. And also I saw 2 TV series, one of which was court ordered. So.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
We'll come to that.
Okay.
So here's the stack. And I'll try not to be overbearing with this. So, Cats Don't Dance. Watched it with the kids for movie night. Better than I remember, shorter than I remembered. And now that I've seen Sunset Boulevard, I realize that the entire thing is a riff on Sunset Boulevard.
Huh.
I don't know if any of you have
Okay.
seen this one.
No.
That movie? No, I've never even heard of it.
It's got classic animation style. It's actually pretty cool, and the main female cat in it has some really, really, really good character animation in it. But it is a musical. It is sort of the Bakshi school, so it's sort of meh. Also, movie night, Guardians of the Galaxy, in which we learned that the boys, unless they know the IP, things that are specifically targeted to 6-year-old boys can't hold their attention. We've got a tree and a talking raccoon with a gun, and I couldn't keep them from turning around, chatting to one another, etc., etc.
Oh,
I don't know what
Who
to
knew?
do. They just wanted to watch Hulk again because they knew who
Oh.
Hulk was.
Oh, they didn't want to watch
It
Guardians?
does take a while.
Well-
It takes a while to get them together. You know, they end up in jail
does.
halfway through the movie, and then
But it's all space and aliens. I thought for sure, but no. It's old music, I guess.
My kids, both of them, hate
Mhm.
sci-fi.
Oh. See, I grew
Very
up
painful.
when I was a kid, I was all about sci-fi. I have completely turned to horror these days. Big surprise, but I was all about every aspect of sci-fi. Cult of Humpty Dumpty.
I was the
first-
Cult of Humpty Dumpty.
The first one was good. This one is bad. That's really all you need to know. The first one had an interesting angle on it. It worked with the fact it had no money and amateur actors. This one did not. This one was Dinosaur Hotel 1. I actually think Dinosaur Hotel 2 was better than Dinosaur Hotel 1. So, not good.
It was.
Not-
It was.
Yeah.
Objectively, it was. But,
Yeah.
you know.
There's a phrase that I use often at work, saying that something is better than one other thing when they're both bad is kind of like saying that an auto accident that killed 4 people is better than an auto accident that killed 8 people.
But it is objectively true. So, WNUF Halloween special.
Oh,
This-
awesome!
This is
I
not as
wanna
good as
see
it
this
should be.
movie.
What this is a framed Halloween special of late 70s, early 80s local TV channel, their news station sending somebody out to a haunted house to interview psychics on site, and then it all goes horribly wrong. And it's all it's beautifully period appropriate with ads, and there's somebody fast forwarding through boring sections of the movie for you. But when it comes down to it, there's very little actual substance present. If I had not paid $30 for this, I would feel
Oh,
better about it. But I paid
Yeah, it has a
$30.
lot of delightful extras to it, though. I mean, like,
I haven't gotten to the extras.
hours of fake commercials, fake trailers, etc. I thought it was a good time. I actually really liked that show.
I was pretty drunk when I watched it. I was traveling, and I was in a hotel that had a bar in the front lobby. So I had several beers before I came back and took one with me to my room. So I was pretty drunk and was not particularly thrilled with it. It kind of ends on a joke in which it turns out the house is not haunted. There's just some asshole killers in it who capture the camera crew.
did you say 4 beers and pretty drunk?
They were large beers.
I'm dying, so you know.
Sorry. Okay. You talked about this one last week.
Yes.
Yes,
I
it
need
is
to see that.
great. Get it, watch
Uh-oh.
it. My only regret is that now I go to Walmart and I see that they have released the entirety of Venture Brothers on a box set. And
Wait, I need to look this up.
I have all but 2 of the seasons, and now I'm torn because it's $89 fucking dollars.
Yeah,
If
I
didn't
have.
have any of the seasons, would have bought it in a heartbeat. But now what the fuck do I do?
All right, I need to get
I
that. I've
already
never
have.
seen any of it.
Oh yeah,
Wait,
you do.
Wait, so
Oh,
I
you
see,
haven't seen anything.
I see the complete series DVD on Amazon for $76, but you're saying it's on Blu-ray now?
I think it was Blu-ray. I was so infuriated I didn't look at it for very long because I'm like, God damn it! I was just gonna hunt down
It's
the
on
2
Blu-ray.
seasons.
I have a Blu-ray of it.
I've literally
I'm sure it's
seen
on
none of
Blu-ray.
Venture Brothers. No, I think I've seen the first episode or something like 10 years ago.
It gets much more polished.
The pilot is rough, but it's a statement.
Very
It's
unpolished.
like, hey, give us more money to make this even better. It's like
Yeah,
Flash
I only
animation,
see,
I think.
I only see DVD. I see a Blu-ray. I see Blu-ray season 4, but this is on Amp. You said you saw it at Walmart. They had the whole series for $89.
Yeah, single box set.
Really? I'm gonna look up the same thing. Wow. So
Gunnar
maybe
kind of forced me to try it, and I didn't care for it.
What did
It's
you
just
just
okay.
say?
Yeah, just what you heard.
It's a very.
You are off
I
of
don't
the
know.
show.
I
Gone.
don't know why. I don't know why it didn't appeal. It was okay. I didn't see what you guys were seeing, and I don't know why.
I think it has to hit your particular flavor because it is so deep into like cultish fandom that when it finds your fandom, you're like, oh my god, this is my people. But you know.
So maybe just watching like what was like a dozen episodes, and I was like,
I would have thought you would have hit some of it then.
oh,
But
you would
maybe
have
not.
thought, but for some reason I was like, oh, I don't know.
I think we got through the first season, but I forget. It's been a while.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean we really worked hard at it, like for about a week. I mean,
That's what everyone
I'd be like,
wants
oh,
to
put
hear.
it on, put it on. We'd watch more.
It says something that it felt like effort to you in the first place.
It did. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm missing something.
If they made a live action one of those, I would cast Dr. Orpheus. I would cast Jenner as Dr. Orpheus because I always think of him every single time he comes on.
I'm honored.
The best line Dr. Orpheus ever did was, "You are welcome to watch TV, but the remote is lost in the infraspace and it's stuck on the Animal Planet." Whatever the fuck he was doing. Okay, and the movie that I finished today because I wanted to be able to talk about it is Beau is Afraid.
I am afraid to watch that.
Yeah, I'm afraid to watch that too. I don't know if I
Funniest
want.
fucking movie I have seen in years.
The what?
Supposed to be?
The funniest movie I have seen in years. Okay, I studied, so I took a minor in German, and I studied Franz Kafka one semester, and we went through the trial, and the text of the trial. And one of the most instructional things I have ever encountered in all of my reading, universally, English or German, is I read the biography of Max Ernst, who was the best friend of Franz Kafka and actually disposed of a bunch of his unpublished work after Kafka died. This was according to Kafka's last wishes. And he said
Dude,
he
clear my
related
history.
he related in his diary that there was a point when Franz Kafka came to their gathering, their little literary gathering, in order to read the draft copies of some of the chapters of the trial to the audience, and they couldn't get through it because everyone was laughing so hard. That is instructional when you talk about Beau is Afraid. Beau is Afraid is about a man who is afraid of everything, and it is completely surrealistically justified. Because the absolute worst possible situations in the world happen to this man, and it just keeps escalating. And I don't want to give any of it away because this is just a drive to the bottom, and I am convinced that it is intended to be a comedy because it is so utterly hilarious in
I
several
thought it
points.
was marketed as a comedy. I mean,
It was
like a
marketed-
dark
Okay.
comedy.
I didn't see
very,
much of it.
very dark comedy. It's
Very,
it's
very
what the
dark
kids would call distilled cringe,
You could, I mean, you could call it that, but
distilled trauma.
I get through the cringe out the other side, and I find it absolutely hilarious. I mean, there is a point, I'm going to try to do this without spoiling anything, which is very fucking difficult because it's all tied together into this one guy's history. But there's a point where sorry.
I'm not sure I do want to know anything because I actually don't know anything about this
Yeah,
movie.
me neither.
I've
Me neither.
intentionally kept it as far away from me as possible to really enjoy the
Ooh.
film.
There is one bit I want to tell you about.
I heard a kid
But
dies. Or is
No?
no, so there's like
A lot of people die.
A lot of people
not a kid.
die. I'm not sure about any kids though.
a
Granted,
teenager or somebody
yeah.
like a heroin addict or something.
Are they all played by Joaquin Phoenix?
What
Are
is
they all
it?
like
Well,
different
not all.
versions?
Not all of them. He plays a number of roles, but not all of them.
No,
Okay.
that was
It is
a
the
number of
most Freudian horror comedy I think I've ever seen. It is
Yeah.
deeply Freudian.
what is it that you would tell me to be wary of?
Be wary of.
I thought that's what you were saying.
Family-related trauma.
Yeah, I guess.
What is that dog die
an
thing?
abusive parental relationship, emotionally abusive, not sexually abusive. I don't think there are any dogs in it at all. Yeah, no kids die. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe
People
it's because
die.
of the emotionally abusive parent thing. Because
Yeah,
that
Beau.
that
It's
hits
a
me
very
really
emotional
close.
abuse.
I mean, Beau is afraid on
Oh.
does the dog die.com. It's all no's but they're all animal questions in this particular instance.
Yeah. Oh wow, you're all.
Oh wait,
See,
are there spiders? Yes, a lot of yeses. I don't mind spiders.
There were spiders? I don't remember spiders.
Maybe there was
largely
if they don't add a comment onto does the dog die to give it a little context, it could be a fucking spider in a corner. That is technically yes.
It says two seasons. Someone also asked, "Does a dragon die?" And there are a lot of no's.
There's no dragon in the movie.
I don't know how this site works. I'm
Uh,
just looking at what's there.
They.
They are user submitted triggers that, when voted enough, are released into the system automatically.
It has 33 no's. Does a dragon die?
Yeah,
What?
because there's no dragon in it. Whoever got does a dragon die to peak was a genius. I don't know who did it, but somebody was like, you know what? Fuck that. If a dragon dies, I'm not watching it.
Oh,
Which cuts
I
out
do
like
have a couple friends who
90% of
would
the
do
dragon
that.
movies.
Wait, I'm
Fight
gonna
a
look up.
dragon.
I want to look up
Dragon
Dragon Heart. See if that has does a dragon die.
It does. Oh,
And fight
yes.
dragons, yeah. So, I was
Yes.
actually gonna. I was
Yes.
going to propose Beau is Afraid for the pile. The entire movie is about an abusive family relationship, though, so that might be a non-starter.
At the same time, it might be funny to me.
It might be.
It's so
done
over the
right.
top.
/ perpetual worst case scenario,
Yeah.
it might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, there's a part I want to tell you about, but I'm not gonna.
Why don't
and
we
it's
do it
not
for
the
next week? I'd
it's
be
not the
totally
best
up.
part of it. It's not the best part of it, but it is a part that I felt like I could separate from the rest of the movie. But if you don't want to be spoiled, I'm not going to spoil.
I'm gonna say you've sold me on it. Let's do that for next week.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
me too.
This is
I
four
wanted.
of mine in a
I'll-
row.
I mean, I've been.
It's
Just
okay.
hearing this, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Where
It's
can I
3
see it, or
hours
do I have
long.
to buy it?
That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm gonna look it
I
up.
watched a
I'll
3-hour
probably
movie
rent it.
today.
Okay, just making sure you know.
I watched 3 hours in the evening, maybe 5. So.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
So-
it's
I don't watch
rentable
that.
every. It's rentable
What's
everywhere
rentable?
for $5.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's good. Okay.
I got this on DVD because I'd heard mixed reviews. I really wish I'd gotten it on Blu-ray. Okay.
I got it on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
Look it
you
up on
would.
Blu-ray.
But my wife quit her job 2 weeks ago, so I'm feeling a little bit of a
That's-
pinch.
It's $21 on Blu-ray.
Huh?
It's not bad on Amazon.
I may dig it up. Last thing. So 2 TV series. I finished Disenchanted. Have any of
Oh,
you
you
been
finished
watching?
it? I watched
I'm 2 episodes in. Don't spoil a damn thing.
One
Two
Yeah.
episodes in, or
Wait, is
from
it
the beginning?
Disenchanted or
2
Disenchantment?
episodes.
Meant.
Is it meant?
Meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Disenchanted is the
Okay.
like cartoon to live action
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Musical
Okay.
fun thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I'm not going to spoil anything. If you start watching the series, how many of you have watched any of the series?
Almost
Oh,
all
yeah.
except for the
Wait,
late.
I've only
late
seen. Wait. This is not the Matt Groening show.
This is the
Yeah.
Matt Groening show.
Oh, okay. I've watched part. I don't remember how they organize it. I've watched parts 1 and 2 or something.
I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I
If-
love it.
I like
I
it.
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
the hurdle to getting into the series is pretty high on it because it is the thing I least expected to get from Matt Groening. It is an actual epic. Okay, it is not an episodic TV series. It's not a joke a week. It's not a let's follow this weird ass storyline. It has no impact on the rest of the story. It is an honest to God epic. It comes to a solid conclusion at the end of this season.
Wow.
I don't see how they could continue after this because it's almost a 6 feet under situation.
No,
So
they
is-
said it's
What?
done. They said
This
this
is-
is the
It's
end.
done.
Yeah.
Is a
It is
season
done.
is a
Any
part
spoilers?
is a part a season? What do you call it? Part 1, that's a season.
Yeah.
Part 2
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
season. What are they
Yeah.
on? I've watched parts 1 and 2. I
5,
think.
I believe.
It's 5 seasons, and it is a full story. And when you start I can't even give it a full recommendation because fully half of the cast is just not interesting. I hate King Grog.
Oh.
Zog.
Zog. Thank you, not Grog.
Zog.
I hate King Zog, and I
The
hate
Matt Berry
Elfo.
guy.
No,
No,
King Zog
King
is
No,
Zog is
Oh,
John DiMaggio.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
he's
Bender, the
Bender.
Bender sounding fat guy.
Yeah, Matt
my
Berry's the
God.
pig.
he's the one I
I think-
relate to the most. King Zog. I
they
got gout the
tried-
same day that I watched the episode of him getting gout.
the gout
Oh,
episode?
no.
It was like 10 times more hilarious because
I
of that.
believe you. Nonetheless, his character is not interesting. They try to redeem him. I guess they do. But I had to grit my teeth through all of the bits with King Zog and the bits with Elfo, or everything with Bean, everything, especially with Lucy.
Wait,
I
who do you like
Lucy.
then? You don't like Bean or Elfo or?
No, I
Lucy?
like
don't like
Bean.
Elfo?
I like Lucy. I don't like Elfo. I don't like Zog.
Oh,
I
You
like
like
all of
Elfo.
these people.
Yeah.
everything. Jenner and I for a while would just be like
I think
all the time.
I think in this season Lucy has been in rare form. It's
Yeah.
he's been
I think I need to
gotta
start.
watch it now.
I need to start over. I watched 1 and 2 when they came out. That's the last I watched, and it's been however many years.
Yeah,
Catch
if you
up.
go into it expecting a Futurama or a Simpsons, it is
Yeah,
not.
it's not.
It just
It's-
flat is not. It is a long form storytelling that you don't expect from Matt Groening, and I think that really colored my expectations. I wasn't going to follow it. I picked up the second season on a whim, not purchased, watched on Netflix, but I watched the first season. I'm like, I'm not going to watch any more of this, and then I watched second season on a whim, and I figured out that this is actually a long form story, and that changed my mind about it. So watched all of that. And last thing, my court ordered one. So, yeah, you missed that declaration earlier. So we don't go into it very much. Ours is a foster household. In order to remain a foster household, you have to do 15 hours a year of additional training. Some of that has to be in person. Some of that can be alternate training, where you read a book or you watch a TV series. Well, we were the last student. We were the students late to class with, trying to make up our homework. And because of that, we watched 6 hours of 13 Reasons Why.
Oh,
I've heard the title, but
That was
I have
court
seen it.
ordered.
I actually watched several seasons, or at least 2 seasons of it, and
is that the show that got in trouble because there's some suicide stuff in it?
yeah,
It's
about
all about a
suicide.
suicide.
that's all
Oh,
it's about.
okay.
Suicide, yeah.
Okay.
I actually
But-
liked it. So,
Jesus
I-
Christ.
just the first season. Everything else beyond
Okay.
that, I couldn't handle.
We only watched 6 hours of it, which is 6 episodes. Here is the concept of 13 Reasons Why. A girl has killed herself. She made 13 tapes that she has a minion going out distributing this set of 13 tapes to the people she feels are responsible for her having killed herself, and has them listen to all the tapes and then pass them on to the next person. And if they don't, all of this material will be released widely.
That sounds like a
So-
great premise.
Yeah,
It's a book. It was originally a book.
yeah, it was a book. It was a book. It is absolute suicidal ideation because in the end, she killed herself to make all those people regret what they did to her, and it works. Other people commit suicide, other people go to jail, other people get in fights. Everybody feels bad because she died. It's utter suicide ideation. And in
Okay,
watching
I agree
this,
with that.
yeah, in watching this, I had 2 reference points that kept coming to mind. One, there is another series based on an individual who did something horrifying and reprehensible and then had minions go out and distribute tapes to other target individuals who he felt deserved. Yes, I'm talking about the Saw
I
franchise.
knew it.
So this is
So
basically
I've never
Saw
seen
Junior.
any of the Saw movies, and
I've
I
seen
don't
the
want
first
to.
one.
I
It
don't
is
want to.
remarkably similar in parallel, and the second one has to be Werner Herzog in Grizzly Man. I think you should destroy these tapes.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I refuse to watch it. I
must
know
ne-
you. I know
must
you
never
don't see
listen to
the.
this.
I know you don't see the attack, but I don't want to. I heard you watch him watch it,
Yeah.
and that's bad enough.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
However,
You must
because
never.
we only watched
You
up to
must
episode
never
6.
listen to this.
but hey,
Yes. No.
hey,
Okay.
it's on YouTube.
Yes, it is.
The actual tape.
Yeah.
Probably.
Fuck
yeah.
that. No, I'm not
No,
watching.
Fuck that
thank you.
noise.
Right.
thank you.
So, yeah, 13 Reasons Why was some of the hardest 6 hours I've had to sit through for this particular training. And I'm not entirely certain I learned the lessons they wanted me to learn about it, which was bullying is bad, sexual assault is bad, trauma lingers. Yeah, that's about all of it. And instead, I learned that the main character who killed herself is severely narcissistic, made a 13-hour podcast in order to make people regret having made her kill herself, and did not leave a note for her parents.
What if the twist is
There-
that
I didn't
she was
remember
alive and she
that.
didn't kill herself?
I was going to say there's a fine line between, at least in popular entertainment, there is a fine line between victim and supervillain.
Here-
Yeah.
And here's the thing. The book is basically the same. Yeah.
Mhm.
But the way it feels when it's presented, everything makes a lot of sense emotionally, character-wise. They added
Okay.
some stuff in to make it a TV series and to have multiple seasons because the book ends and it's done.
Mhm.
As far as I know,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a series or not. I hope it's not, but I'm
Yeah.
not aware of it being a series. I think it was just the one book, and it ends with everybody getting the tapes and being sad and being like, "Oh, we need to reflect on this and be better people."
Yeah, apparently in later seasons, like the person, person responsible for the sexual assault gets outed and is going to be arrested, but somebody else shoots him and pushes him in a lake, or breaks his leg, or
What?
something like that, and he drowns. And there's an entire season that is a whodunit of whodunit to get this guy killed, and it's just of all the things to milk, you know.
Yeah. That's a weird one.
That
Yeah.
feels it's tacky.
It is tacky.
Yeah.
It's frickin' tacky.
Oh, I do want to say I did not like the show. I was not a fan of it. I didn't like the way.
Did you watch it? How much
It's a
did you see?
very
I'm
young
gonna be
adult
correct.
idea.
Yeah.
It's
Go ahead.
a very young adult idea of I'm gonna make you all regret the day. Yeah, but no, the
Yeah.
idea of following it on as a whodunit, it's just extending that into a franchise feels freaking tacky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never should have been. It's
Yeah.
weird.
So I'm sorry I took I don't know, half an hour there with all the crap.
That's okay.
All
So
right.
good. I'm on my phone now.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Correct
That'll
that later on. Yay, cellular data.
Before we move on to our next segment, I'm gonna go grab another drink.
Okay.
I might
Smoke
too.
break.
I guess I'll
Smoke
take
break.
a bathroom break.
I'm taking a smoke break.
Well, somebody
back.
has to stay here and hold down the fort.
That'll be me.
We
I got nowhere to go.
Tiger, it'll
I
okay,
brought
okay.
I brought my drink
Talk-
with
You got
me.
enough beer.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh, it's a lot of
Yeah,
drink.
talk to the people. Talk to the people like you
Yeah.
know the people.
I'll be right
Monologue.
back.
Yes, monologue.
Monologue.
Okay, monologue. Well, I'm being.
Oh, we're gonna miss it though. Damn.
Yeah.
I've usually watched the program on YouTube. Well, some of the
Okay.
time. I don't know. I'm catching up on
Okay.
stuff.
So
have fun.
can you? Oh, okay. You're walking out, but you're on your phone. You can take your phone with you.
Oh, that's not a bad idea, actually.
There you go. There you
I'll
go.
talk. Okay.
So do you
We'll make
see
it a
the
diet.
show? Yeah, we'll make it a
No, I'm
okay.
multitasking as little as humanly possible at this point.
So I will hold up what you can't see, which is my box set of Mystery
I can
Science
see.
Theater 3000 Season 13, which finally
I saw that.
arrived.
I saw that very briefly when you came in.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying anything. I'm just heading toward
Okay.
the exit of my apartment.
No worries. So I was a Kickstarter for the MST3K Season 13 thing. I missed the previous season being a Kickstarter of that, which I regret immensely. It was actually supposed to be a birthday gift, but everyone involved forgot.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
well, it happens. I'm not
Belated
I'm not
happy
really-
birthday. I think I
Yeah.
wished you one on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, no, my birthday this year is coming up. This Kickstarter thing
well.
is over a year old. It might
Well,
be.
there you go then.
Yeah. So, but that actually arrived today. So I got my box set of the season 13 and a whole bunch of other swag because it's one of those Kickstarter things where you fund up to the point of what you want, and then you get all the T-shirts and popcorn buckets and stuff like that came below, including a challenge coin, which
yeah, we were talking about the challenge coin
Yeah.
earlier.
which is a pretty good challenge coin actually. It's got MST3K on one side and the Satellite of Love on the reverse. So
Nice.
yeah, no, it's pretty good. Other
That's pretty
news.
neat.
So we were talking video games earlier. I didn't get a chance. I've been playing Baldur's Gate.
How is
Um,
that going for you?
Well, that is a horny video game. It takes a while to get to the
So I am
point.
told. So I am
Yeah.
told.
But there, you go back to camp, and just about 2/3 of all of the dialogue choices are trying to get with one of the other members of the group. So that is a horny video game. Baldur's
Any
Gate,
in particular, or just whichever one you feel like trying to get with?
No, all of them. Every person
Okay.
you talk to, except maybe the Lich.
Oh,
Are you
that-
talking
that's
about
not-
Baldur's Gate 3?
That's not just a horny game. That's a thirsty game.
Yeah.
I still haven't bought it. I really, really want to play it. I'm just
Me
buried
too.
in other games right now.
It is really fun. I will say
heard
that.
Is there
It
a
gets a-
multiplayer element?
Yes. You
Yeah.
can. I actually bought it because 3 of my friends on Discord wanted to multiplayer it, and you can all join into a group of 4 that adventure, and everybody controls one player character. This is what actually happens, however. If you're like me, you end up chasing after the rest of the party because they have charged off in a random direction.
They
and
squirreled.
They're having a conversation with some other character, and if you get within range, you can click on a little icon that lets you listen in on the conversation but not participate in it. So whoever gets to the talk point first gets to control the conversation. And you can vote on what you think they should say, which is kind of a neat aspect, but it still feels like running after trying to keep up. And it's many hours of entertainment and a lot of hours of wandering around wilderness. I haven't gotten to Baldur's Gate yet. I don't know if you ever do. There's enough of a map that I'm not certain. It might be the Waiting for Godot of Baldur's Gate games. But
I really want to play it.
I really want to play that too. The only thing that worries me is, so I love Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. I didn't
played
love Divinity Original Sin 2. I felt it was too overwhelming, and this is done by the same people and not the original team.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
It's done by Larian, who made Divinity
that's right.
2.
That's right. I did know that.
So
overwhelming how?
Like, I spent 30 hours to get out of the first area in Divinity. Then I got to the next area, and I just felt like I can't do another. There's too much stuff. There's too many options. Like, I don't even want to start the next area. Which I never felt in Baldur's Gate 1 and 2.
So I have just hit the point where I'm no longer collecting all the bottles in every room you go into because they each sell for 1 gold. So I was D&Ding hard, and now I have a hell of a lot of cash, and I've just hit the point where I'm not doing absolutely every little thing in every single room. I don't know how far into the game I am. So it's hard to say if that's going to be a problem, but it feels small scale enough. It's very D&D-ish. But...
Okay. I mean, also the combat in Divinity 2 was very difficult. It was very punishing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say this is particularly punishing. I am an idiot and made up my entire party with people. 3 of the characters have a strength of 8, and 1 has a strength of 14. So I am doing it without any tanks or any frontline fighters because I'm an idiot. I'm doing the warlock, the mage, the thief, and the cleric.
I wanted to run
you don't even have proper ranged players. I mean, they're all magic.
Actually, if this is how D&D has always worked, I have been playing it wrong because the rogue is getting so many fucking sneak attacks. Because anytime anyone else is adjacent to another enemy, you can sneak attack them. And the rogue is just massacring people by having me run my mage out and stand next to the target.
That's a clever approach. Either that, or you found an exploit in the AI.
No, I think it's actually
very possible.
Technically flanked.
Yeah, I've been playing D&D for the past year and a half, and our rogue does do a lot of hiding and sneak attacking. That seems to be all he does, and he usually pulls it off.
Yeah.
Maybe you just lucked into a very good rogue.
Yeah.
I play Karlak in one of my favorite magic decks. She's very cool.
I don't know who Karlak is.
The Devil Lady.
Oh, okay.
There's a magic and D&D crossover?
I actually just found
they're
her.
the same. They're the same company.
Are they? Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah, they're all the same now. They're all owned by Hasbro.
Oh, I never knew that. That must have happened
Yeah, so they've been D&D sets for Magic have been going on for years, and and Karlak is especially fun to play because she's a low mana cost, and she gives you you can untap your creatures after you declare combat, and then have a second combat after that. She's brutal. I love her. So
I have just found her. That is ridiculous because she's one of the starting players. I should have found her quite a while ago. I just didn't explore in the right direction. But she does seem actually more fun than any of the characters I'm currently playing.
She's a fan favorite, definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
Excuse me, everybody. I think we can move to our main event. I have a
Accion Mutante.
I'm not sure anybody's going to like my opening.
Oh boy.
Go for
it.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Tonight's movie, like many of our selections, is weird and off-putting. Produced by Pedro Almodovar and directed by Alex de la Iglesia. Accion Mutante, or Mutant Action in English, I guess, takes place in the distant future of 2012, telling the story of a terrorist group whose name is the title of the film. Hey. They're a ragtag group of disabled and disfigured people who are out for one thing: the rights of the ugly over the beautiful. These characters are fun to spend time with, and you start to get excited to hear their backstories, especially that guy in the floating wheelchair. But don't get too excited. That shit's over in
Don't
like
get too attached.
25 minutes.
Don't get attached.
And the rest of the time we spend with some truly unlikable characters. Anyway, Accion Mutante is a group of fuck-ups led by a guy who is the smartest of the bunch, but still a dumbass. Dumbass has been in jail the whole time, and when he's released, they put their newest plan in motion: kidnap the daughter of a wealthy businessman, then ransom her. It goes wrong. Very bloody and absolutely preposterous. This blend of Gilliam and Jeunet and Caro into that sort of grimy, put together in a garage feeling dystopian kind of world. You know what I mean by that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like tinfoil outfits and shit. Wagner, this is your pick for this
Absolutely.
week. Do you want to say anything before we jump into it?
Do I want to explain myself? So it is important to have a couple of there are 2 points that are absolutely essential to understanding this film and Alex de Iglesias. The first point is that Alex de Iglesias is not a crazy Spaniard. He is a crazy Basque. And that puts a lot of perspective on the rest of the film. So, for those of you who don't know, the Basque region of Spain is at the topmost border between Spain and France, is the little dip between the two nations. And Alex de Iglesias was born in the default capital of the Basque region of Spain. And he grew up in the 80s, during which the Basque separatist movement was an active terrorist group in his region and led to a great deal of police lockdowns of that area of the nation. And we're talking about people who like blew up multiple police stations and stuff like that. So he is making a film mocking terrorists in a region that has just, I believe they had just stopped, that had just resolved the Basque separatist movement in that region of Spain of having like pretty regular terrorist bombings and stuff like that. So it's like making an IRA, a movie mocking the idea of terrorism in Ireland during the Troubles. So that is both distinctly Spanish and distinctly Basque, is my understanding. My understanding of Spanish film is not very wide at all. I was like, well, Alex de Iglesias, he's made just a few movies and I really like him, and I went on IMDb. No, he's made a hell of a lot of movies.
He's made a lot of movies, yes.
Yeah. The other thing to understand is it's hard to talk about Alex de Iglesias without talking about Carolina Bang. And she's not in this film. Carolina Bang is kind of the driving force in a lot of the other films of his that I've seen. Jenner, will you back me up on that?
I have not seen enough Alex de la Iglesia movies to vouch for that directly, but I am given to understand, reading up some of the background, that he has a very, very set of collaborators.
Yeah, well, he married her. Actually, and this is probably going to turn Nate further against him. He actually left his wife in order to marry Carolina Bang and subsequently make a lot of movies with her. My first exposure to Alex de Iglesias was a trailer for The Last Circus, which is one of the craziest fucking things you will ever encounter.
It's a Jodorowsky riff that in some regards out Jodorowsky's Jodorowsky, and that's saying something.
Very much so. The only blight on it is that he started using CGI in the end of that one, and I really feel like it was kind of a bad decision on his part. But Alex de Iglesias...
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to
So-
say he actually has some of the same background that Jodorowsky does. Started off as a comics artist. Yeah.
And so he's this is some of the most gleeful filmmaking I've ever seen, in that it is just utterly absurd. It doesn't care on many points. And at one point, we have a scene in which a man who is a conjoined twin, whose brother has died and been taxidermied, is lynched and hanging from a tree by his taxidermied brother's neck, and is rescued by a Sawyer clan family riding a bulldozer. I mean, what? Okay, where are we gonna go from here? Because I genuinely didn't expect that to happen. And Ray's
If
looking
I
at
may
me like,
interrupt, there
Yeah.
is a one line toward the end of the movie where one of the
Mhm.
characters says something, and I can't remember it exactly. It's something like, I don't know what's going on here. It's weird and absurd, and I'm not sure I like it. And I was like, exactly.
Oh, that was the
The-
bartender.
The fixer
Oh, yeah.
for the multi-billionaire says this is completely absurd.
Oh, wait,
and I
he's-
don't like it.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. He's the one who does it because he's the one who gets out and survives.
Yeah, exactly. And that is, I was like,
The only,
how I feel.
the
I was
only
like,
rational
finally,
character.
somebody gets it.
Yeah.
And there's a reason that this looks so much like a Jeunet film, is that they actually hired the special effects crew from Delicatessen, because they loved that movie so much and brought them in order to help the actual special effects crew on this film. And you can see there's influence, and then there's inviting the people to come help you. So
Yeah. This
and
is
this
beyond influence. This is more of their work.
I wouldn't actually go that far, because for some
okay.
reason it feels distinctly Spanish to me, but I can see that argument. I just disagree
Well,
with
if
it
they
somewhat.
worked on it, I would say
Yeah, and
that it's
this
more
is
of their work.
Yeah, this is Alex de Iglesias' first feature film.
Yeah.
This is the
Which-
first
which
one
of-
he made.
Which, of course, he followed with one of the ones that a lot more of us cult guys saw, The Day of the Beast, or El Dia de la Bestia, which was so prominent in its native Spain that it won him a Best Director César Award. This is an interesting piece of insanity, not least because its director went almost immediately on to become one of Spain's most prominent film directors, full stop, no qualifiers. Internationally, pretty much only Almodovar and several other expatriates, like maybe Guillermo del Toro, have a comparable profile. Yeah, but the interesting thing is he's remained prominent, making periodically completely bug nuts movies. Occasionally he does something that feels a little bit straight, like his American debut, The Oxford Murders, which I have seen, was fairly sedate by comparison, and then he turned around and did The Last Circus, which is bug nuts on top of bug nuts.
Yeah, it's crazier than this. And manages to tie in the Spanish Civil War in there, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I've seen Perdido Durango. Of his...
Sequel to a Lynch movie. Name another director who made a sequel to a David Lynch movie.
Yeah, and what the English title is, Witching and Bitching, which I really hate.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up the actual title of the fucking thing, because it's like The Witches of, and it names a region.
Las Brujas de Zigaramundi.
Zigaramundi,
or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, and that one in
That's
particular,
been a stalwart on Netflix for ages. That I still need to see, actually.
There was a podcast I listened to for a while that was very, very feminist in nature, and that was the only film that they got partway into and were so disgusted they couldn't watch it. So to some degree,
that's how I felt as well.
Oh, you saw Witching and Bitching?
Yeah.
Or this one? Oh,
No.
You have seen that one, really?
No, not all the way through.
Oh, good Lord, no.
You had the same response.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I created a doesthedogdie.com account specifically for this movie because
This movie.
Really?
yes, if
Okay.
the amount it's mostly inferred, but it's not really inferred. It's pretty much out there how much rape is in the film. Like they talk about how she's lost her virginity after being with the mutants, and they talk about it. Everybody talks about it, and nobody
Except
corrects
they
it.
haven't.
What do we know?
Except they had no. It was assumed by the president of the bread baking company, and then she manages to get all 3 of the Sawyer clan all tied up
No,
and run out on them.
It was not assumed by Ramon says in the video, her virginity isn't all
Her
that she'll
virginity is
lose.
the only isn't all that she'll lose. Yes, but we don't ever see anything that actually makes us believe that she's still in her wedding dress for the whole time.
Yeah,
It's true,
Well,
but I was also kind of squicked about the whole thing.
I mean, I
too.
assume
kept
she
going,
was.
"Oh,
Yeah, I assume she was getting raped as soon as the door. I forget exactly how it played out, but she was like getting raped, and you saw like you
Wow.
heard it
No, I did
happening.
not.
yeah,
Well, by that gang of clowns.
yes.
yeah.
Really? Okay. I mean, I'm not going to correct your assumption, but it's your assumption. But
Yeah,
I
I
never
took it that
felt
she was.
that.
I took it that she was not raped by the by Accion Mutante, but she was raped by the hillbillies.
By the Sawyer clan.
Yeah, such as they are.
Okay.
I thought it was all of them, but whatever.
I didn't see either of them, honestly.
I mean,
the way
it
she
looked
puts
like
it at the
like
end,
she turned the tables on the Sawyer clan, but one assumes that there was definitely some ill action to get there in the first place.
Yeah.
except this is a group of men who have never seen a woman before, and they all went to it dressed in
No,
their
they did
Sunday
because
best.
the father had
Well,
because he had a
presumably the
wife
father
that
had.
left. Well, he had.
that's right,
Where
she
did the
left,
voice
you're
come
right.
from? And she left 20 years prior.
That's true.
Which I don't blame her.
Well, to all appearances, she ended up with the guy with the maggot eyes.
Oh, you mean Spanish? Shoot. Oh, I had a good punchline for that. It was Repo Man.
Oh,
No, who's the actor I'm thinking
Harry
of?
Dean Stanton.
Harry Dean Stanton. Spanish
Yeah.
Harry Dean Stanton. Yeah, the taxidermist.
Yeah.
he was fun. No, I was really enjoying the characters until, and I realize this is also a cultural thing because Jess has been. I know she is not Mexican or Spanish or anything, but she's learning the language.
Mm-hmm.
And she listened along with this movie and was like, it's really interesting the choice of subtitles because if you take a lot of what they're saying literally, it's pretty grotesque. But because
even
of
I could catch that, and I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
I've got like 4 or 5 words I can recognize that I know are filthy, and they showed up a lot more than they did in the subtitles.
However, the inflection of the way they say each line, I've forgotten. I don't know the language at all. But there's a phrase that is said like it's like, who are you or something, or is it you, or it was something like that. But if you say it as a question compared to a statement, it means a completely different thing. And apparently there's a lot of that in this movie. I don't get that. I assume there's a level of humor that I'm culturally never going to understand. And I know that Spain has a very masculine culture. And rape is...
Give us the word macho. So
Yeah. Rape is not considered like as bad as...
a taboo.
Yeah. Like
a taboo topic. Yeah.
It's just something that hilariously happens and women just get over it.
Well, I mean, this was to some extent a phenomenon that we observed back in the 90s when some of us had the misbegotten discovery of the existence of the Rape Man OAV series, where someone actually Helen McCarthy, the author of the Anime Movie Guide, made the interesting observation that, well, we see comedies about murder all the time. I don't think that's a full hand wave of it, but culturally, the idea of making a dark comedy about that is something that I can get my mind around, even if I don't like it one little bit.
But they did do it. There was a movie that was a dark comedy about rape that was done brilliantly. What the fuck is it called? What's her face who goes to bars and pretends she's drunk and brings men back to
Promising Young Woman.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That's one that does it really, really well.
Is that a comedy though? I wouldn't.
It's a dark. I would call it a dark comedy. The way some of those guys perform.
For a while, I still need to see it.
Is it a dark comedy you laugh at? Or is it a dark comedy where you're like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't think it had many laughs in it. I mean, there was.
I cracked up at some of the presentations, at some of these male characters and the things they were saying. Their shit was so their shit was so outlandish to me. It was just ludicrous, the things they were saying throughout the film. And I know men who talk like that in that movie. And I react the same way. I'm like, what? You idiot.
I still need to see Promising Young Woman. I've had it for a while. I just haven't seen it.
It's really good.
So I'm told. Carey Mulligan's at camp.
Yeah, Carey, that's her.
There's a large portion of my like for this film which derives from the fact that I can't remember if I said it here or said it elsewhere. That it is not a completely different culture, but a foreign culture to me, and it is making no attempt to blind or censor the culture that it's coming from. That this is an experience I am not prepared for. There are references in here I don't get. There's one of the main characters is a deaf and dumb giant who's called M.A. M.A. I have no idea.
They were just they just murdered him in the first 10 minutes of the fucking movie.
He was my favorite.
He was based on a friend of Alex the Iglesia.
And he has like the lowest IQ on the planet or something like that.
One of the lowest.
I thought he seemed pretty sharp, to be honest. I think he didn't get the full script he should have done.
I don't get why they didn't lean into the team. I don't get why he didn't do that.
I don't think they had the money to do that.
I think
to do those particular actors for a while, but not for the whole film. And it had to be pared down to just a couple.
Oh, are they like known people?
The guy with the hands, he is one. The giant was not, I believe. I listened to the commentary track. I watched all the behind the scenes stuff on this. Ask me about the hovering wheelchair in a bit. But
I saw some of the strings, but overall, great effect.
Isn't it though? It's an amazing effect. If I didn't know to look for the strings, I wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't have known how they did it, honestly.
I wouldn't. That's immediately what I did. I was like, where the strings? There they are. Now I can enjoy it.
This is De La Iglesia's Reservoir Dogs, and as with coming out around the same time, but also a very raw, sort of uncensored seeming, very funny in a lot of regards, kind of calling card picture, making the most of a relatively low budget. I mean, at the same time, the phrase that kept coming to mind while I was watching it is Star Wars for assholes.
A bit.
Especially once they introduced the spaceship or the spaceship aspect.
I was like, wait, what?
I would say along the lines of Ice Pirates.
I was actually thinking Space Raiders, if you remember that weird, grotty little Roger Corman New World production from the early 80s, which was kind of a stalwart rental back in the VHS days and has been kind of very obscure since then. Yeah, except obviously with a near Peter Jackson level of gore to it. This one definitely does wear some of its cult influences on its sleeve. I had a very Transylvanians feel to the wedding dance, a little bit of Rocky Horror-ness to it all.
And
I think
those outfits, some of them
Yeah.
some of them were so perfectly late 80s, early 90s. Because remember in Scrooged even, the hat that Raiders of the Lost Ark lady is wearing.
Karen.
Marion?
Thank you. Yeah. She
Yeah.
has a similar outfit, and I like that kind of design, mocking the culture of the time. It's very, very, very timely and well deserved.
Did you all catch the director cameo?
I
So-
don't know what he looks like.
I can tell you what he looks like. He looks exactly like the priest robot that was going to marry the two of them.
Oh,
I
They
did
modeled
read that
the priest
trivia.
robot after him because I saw him in the behind the scenes stuff, and in this era when he's very young, he has a very distinctive beard shape that they mocked with that priest robot. But
No, I think your point suggesting that this is kind of a guerrilla assault on terrorist culture. I had lacked the context on that going into this, and I'm thinking this movie is either punk as fuck, or it's a movie that is taking the piss out of the nihilism of being punk as fuck, which is itself punk as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taking the punks to task,
It's
which is very
kind
fun.
of like John Waters describing Pink Flamingos as a guerrilla assault on hippie culture. It's
What was it they said?
I can respect
the
taking the piss out of the nihilists.
We're the only ones left. All the rest of them are hipsters.
Yeah. That was an interesting subtitle because that was not a word that was. I imagine that's from the remastered version that floated around a while ago, because that was not a term that was in very common usage back in 1992, 1993.
I don't know. Jess wasn't in the room for that one.
But again, this is a story that was made. This is a film that was made for a foreign culture without an attempt to try and blunt it for a U.S. or an English-speaking culture, except in what they did in the subtitles. And I caught enough swearing in the Spanish that I realized that I was kind of being lied to. But a lot of the references were going to completely go over my head, which is what I like. I like wondering at some of this stuff. When they get the ransom, he cracks it open and looks inside and says, "What is this, Pundy?" So apparently Pundy, and I only know this because it was in the commentary track, is a children's Spanish comic book, which is the rough level of like Casper the Friendly Ghost. So even as a 5 or 6 year old, you are disappointed if somebody hands you a Casper comic. There's plenty of better shit out there.
When I was little.
How little though?
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody even attempted to port this over to the United States except for stalwart bootleggers back in the glory days of the Dragon Con dealers room. Severed. Severed. That's the thing is this never had a US VHS release, unless it was parallel with a subsequent Blu-ray release. I don't think it ever had a standalone DVD release in the US.
No, it's just content on Amazon.
It's been one of those cult handshakes for freaking ever, not least for the very distinctive image of the Patricia with her lips stapled shut, which gave a lot of people seeing the stills in the zines back in the day a slightly different expectation of where the picture was going to be going, but they couldn't have helped but to be satisfied with the sheer level of squicky gore in the picture.
You know, even if you take the rape out, stapling another human being's mouth shut, that's enough for me to be like, fuck these guys. I don't care what happens to them. Who am I supposed to root for? Anybody?
You're not supposed to root for anybody. They're all assholes.
They're all assholes. That's just for the comedy.
Maybe Patricia, except even she seemed kind of vapid in the first place. And
no, Stockholm syndrome again.
I know.
That's my favorite line of the movie.
You've got to stop this. You've got the Stockholm syndrome. Just the phrase the Stockholm syndrome, even if it was in the subtitles. That definitely gave me a laugh there.
I mean, I feel like the stapling was to me was the joke of her having to watch him betray all of his friends, and she's just around the whole. He just lets her be there all the time, and she's just kind of looking around like, "Oh, you're going to kill that guy? Oh, you're going to kill that guy," and just not being able to say anything.
She's trying to warn them, but she can't.
I think I think of it more like the brutality of the statement. Like, how in God's name is a relationship going to form with somebody who put fucking staples in your face? But she has,
Stockholm syndrome.
She loves him
You know,
instantly.
and that's
She's
her
like,
whole
oh, it's a strong
character.
man.
She
Do
has
you know
no
why her
character.
name is? Do
I
you
was
know
gonna
why
say it's
she's
one of those.
Patricia?
Hmm.
Do you know why she's named Patricia?
Why?
Why?
Patty Hearst.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Mm.
That
It's
was
one
the
of those
explicit
things where
reference.
it's one of those things where, depending on how you look at it or knowing more or less context, which admittedly context I don't have, although I probably need to hurry up and actually watch Las Brujas de Ziggaramundi.
Interesting watch.
It's one of those things that's either going to be taken as misogynistic as hell or a searing commentary on being misogynistic as hell. Or, bit of column A, bit of column B.
For the record, when I proposed this one, I did say it's the most gleeful filmmaking I've ever seen, but it is a Spanish sci-fi film in the early 90s, so you might be offended. So I did warn you. I did put that right up front.
This definitely has the feel of one of those things that was sold as something to offend everybody. That was a thing that they did back in the day.
I mean, for me, things like "Does the dog die?" exist not for offense. I realize that people are entertained by things like that, and I don't begrudge them that. It's more that it causes an emotional reaction within myself that I don't want to participate in. So if I'm warned ahead of hand that something specific to my character is going to make me dislike the film simply because it's in the film, that I just, to have a little more preparation.
It's like a
Don't watch
vaccination.
You brace yourself.
Yeah, you're vaccinating yourself against it. You're giving yourself a little bit of the disease to know that you can survive. Yeah.
The second the threat of rape became very real, because it was in the dialogue, it was enough.
I warned you about that as well.
Mo, you did not warn about rape.
I did.
Did you?
Did specifically say in conversation on the previous episode, I did mention that rape is suggested in the story and is a joke in the story of the film. So I did tell you about this. So yeah. I'm not trying. I'm not the kind of asshole who subjects people who aren't going to like something to a material in a film that is going to like genuinely disturb them.
I
so
honestly,
Serbian film next week.
I honestly don't remember that at all. My brain wipes. Like I 100% believe you. It's okay. I did not realize what I was getting into because I watched it today. Okay, and that was 2 weeks ago.
We may not want to do Beau is Afraid then.
Is there rape in it?
There is no rape in it, but it is. The entire film is about an emotionally abusive mother and the effect it has on her son in a surrealistically elevated storyline. Mm-hmm. And this is not like, oh, you don't like this, then you won't like that. This is like genuinely, if you need that kind of warning, I don't know if Beau is Afraid is for you.
I've heard that from some people.
The film is distilled familial trauma.
Yeah.
Full stop, no qualifier.
I have heard. That's why I've been afraid to watch it.
It's 3 hours long. That is the central point of the film.
All I know is that the older I get, all of my emotional scars get like more and more unblockable.
So it's interesting you should bring that up, and this is probably a conversation for Beau is Afraid, if we do watch it or not. But I found Beau is Afraid to be a particularly poignant portrayal of a lot of my experience of the world because of just a couple of the things that I have to deal with every fucking time I travel, which is I have a petrifying, like literally gripping the back of the seat terror of flying, and I have to do it every couple of months for my job, or I won't be able to do my job. And a lot of the absolute don't hit me, cringing cowardice that comes from being in an environment where I have absolutely no control about whether we fly into the side of a fucking mountain or not is part of my experience, and yet I find this film absolutely hilarious, despite the fact it's portraying something that I find like an unfortunate trail of my life.
The movie is more hyper real than simply surreal in the normal sense. It's one of those things where all of the emotional wattages are amped to 11.
Or 13, yeah.
Or 13, lucky 13.
It's just I'm not sure how I'll feel, because there was something I was watching the other day that joked about like there were like kids dying or something, and it was hilarious, and I don't remember what it was, but there
It hit you the wrong way.
yeah it just I was kind of anticipating it once they had her, but at the same time it made me disappointed in the characters or it just in it at all to use that as part of the film, because I really find using it at all in film, unless you're specifically talking about it, unless it is like, because I would not call that literally part of the plot. You could drop that and the film would be the same to me.
In this one, in
yes.
Accion Mutante.
Yes.
See, I it was kind of water off a duck's back on my part that they threatened her with rape, but in the end she turned it on them and got away. It's not on screen. I assumed it didn't happen. I'm not going to argue that whether or not it did, because that's up to the viewer to decide, because she's plainly like out of her mind on Stockholm syndrome.
In that spirit of
to begin with.
In that spirit of something to offend everybody, I'm almost going to view it as just checking a box on the list of what's offensive. Filmmakers probably viewing it as lip service, as feature not bug.
I honestly think it is a cultural difference, and I think that if I understood the language, apparently, according to Jess, the verbiage they were using was not quite what like the direct translation of rape per se. It's just the closest thing. It means it doesn't mean rape. It doesn't mean penetration. It doesn't mean holding somebody. It means more like Stockholm, like falling in love with your captor, falling in love with your rapist, that kind of shit. That's more what they said. So I don't know. I think that in this case, in this one film's case, this is a film that is lost in translation for me.
Okay. It's entirely possible.
You've been pretty quiet. Saying what? Did you have any particular thoughts on that?
My entire thought was the same thought as the gentleman at the end that said, it's weird. I'm not sure I like it. All right. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. And that was pretty much how I felt. I was a little squicked out about the possible rape reference. I was worried about the girl. I thought that the staples were a little over the top. But then I was like, but you know what? This whole movie's over the top. I mean, whatever. I mean, this isn't reality. This is a cartoon. And, I laughed a little bit here and there, but a lot of the times I was just like kind of freaked out for some of the characters and why some of the best ones died right away. I was like, we're left with idiots and assholes. And
they keep pulling the rug on.
They were all idiots and assholes.
I mean, I thought it started out kind of strong, but then it was like,
we didn't even get to know the fucking floating wheelchair man.
Yeah, Star Wars for incels and assholes.
Yes.
They were not going to be able to get those wires into all of the sets.
Floating wheelchair man was the Captain Phasma of this movie.
Sorry, that took me a second. Shane, what was your
what? Yeah, I was about to say, Shane.
Do you like Captain Phasma or no?
Me?
I would have liked Captain Phasma if they had done anything with Captain Phasma.
I mean,
precisely.
Phasma was JJ's bald-faced attempt to make a Boba Fett. to
No,
make, I think,
including Boba Fett's shortcomings as an actual depicted character.
no,
right,
no,
to purposely
no.
putting the character that looks cool that people will just talk about, but that not have anything with the character.
He has a specific
Make a good
reason for
toy.
her.
Mhm.
She's named Phasma,
Phas-
and she's Chrome because it's a reference to
Just
Phantasm.
Phantasm.
That's why he did it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Which, I mean,
Right.
fine, make your fucking reference, but put a goddamn character behind it. If you're gonna make somebody
Yeah.
that cool, don't waste them, idiot.
Well, that's why I think it was Boba Fett, because Boba Fett was a
Yeah,
nothing
no.
character that people became obsessed with him because he didn't do anything, and because
Yeah.
Phasma didn't do anything, he was hoping people would become obsessed with her. But I
Yeah.
love that Ryan Johnson was like, "Fuck this idiot character. This
yeah.
character's stupid."
Oh,
I love
was.
how Ryan Johnson, like half of that movie was just fuck JJ. That's why I actually like that movie. This movie, I mean, I agree with Nate. I was interested in the team, and I was amused, I guess, when the guy was just going around killing them all. And then I wondered, well, we're like 20 minutes into the movie, or 25 minutes, or 30 minutes in the movie. What's the rest of the movie about? And then I'm like,
Did you miss the cat when it died, or?
did the cat die?
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Well,
that.
the cat.
Well, I guess
we
it
don't
did
see
in the
cat-
crash.
Yeah, I would
it must have
assume
died.
so.
You can actually see the cat on the ground outside of the ship. That was the one set that all of
Oh,
the
is that
commentary
what that
people-
was?
Yeah, all the commentary people said we don't like that set. That was a bad set. In retrospect, that was a very bad set. We don't like it.
I did
But,
not
yeah.
even notice the cat. I did not.
I
Neither did
noticed
I.
the splattering. Of,
However-
I usually
I
would.
noticed the splattering of gore, but I didn't connect it with the cat. So okay.
I am going to have to go back to doesthedogdie.com and click yes, in fact, the cat does die.
Cat
Why
died.
even call it
Not
a
just
cat?
a cat in the normally accepted term sense of the term.
I'm also wondering, did they use the Spanish word for cat to describe that thing, or is that just another weird translation thing? Because-
Gato?
Did they use gato?
That's
wasn't
what I
really-
heard.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't even know there was a cat.
They call it the cat. It's a thing in a box that.
The
That thing.
Yeah, they
Oh,
call it the
wasn't
cat
even-
several times. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
And they feed it
Okay.
cat chow. I
Which-
assume all animals are mutated in this future, and that's just what a cat looks like now.
Mhm.
And
'Cause
also,
they
I
are
actually
vicious.
took that, and I took
It
that
was,
as
yeah.
another shout. And I took that as another shout back to those grotty Roger Corman produced alien ripoffs from the early '80s, like in this case specifically Forbidden World,
Mhm.
which was the sort of follow up to Galaxy of Terror. Had a similar sort of quasi alienish pointiness to it.
I feel like there was a lot of wasted potential. I liked all those characters. I was not ready for them to die yet. This is
Yeah.
the one case where I will say, make this movie longer.
And I felt like the Siamese twin was maybe the least interesting of them, and he's the one
Yeah.
who survives.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
why him?
Also, the easiest makeup. So
Yeah,
it's just
just
two people hugging each other for the whole time. Everybody else. was
Well, at
rendered
least
in
until they end up
excruciating
tacking him
costumes.
onto the taxidermied version.
Yeah.
That was probably easier.
They couldn't afford his brother.
Well,
It was lighter.
There's a lot of inventiveness. I mean, every frame of this movie is lousy with inventiveness. It's one of those things where you look at it and say, "What the hell was this in the service of?"
Yeah.
Which, like you say, adding in sort of the satire of terrorist organizations context that you provided there, that actually
Mhm.
sort of balances the equation for me. Otherwise, I would have just taken it as I say, an assault on punk culture.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they did murder people in the beginning of the movie, so you kind of know they're
They were
pieces of shit
assholes
to
from
begin with.
begin.
I mean,
They
they
were
they
assholes from beginning to end. That's
didn't
that's
mean
the point.
to, but
They
yeah.
mean to. Yeah,
They didn't
fucked
mean
up.
to with a pillow
They-
over a woman's face
Well,
with a
there's-
gunshot.
Gunshot. No, they
And the
intended
guy
to
with the
shoot
bag over his head. They're like, we've done this 100 times. It's not gonna hurt.
Oh
it.
wait, maybe I'm remembering something else. I thought they did it by accident, but maybe.
It was
No,
an accident.
It was an accident.
They killed the bodyguard. They killed the bodybuilder by accident. They also killed the plastic surgeon because when they kidnapped him, he jumped out of a moving car. They had all kinds of
It's
excuses.
Lots of fuck up.
it's the kind of
Steve?
accidental murderer that you see in the news where it's somebody was like, well, yeah, I held a loaded gun on his head, but I didn't mean it to go off.
Yeah.
Despite how horrible they were, I think I would have liked it more if we just followed them for the whole movie. Once they landed on the planet, I'm like, okay, this is the story that we're telling now.
Yeah. It was dumb.
Yeah.
Or what's
It's
just the
one of
guy
those
and the
it's
girl?
one of those movies that feels almost like kind of a compressed or shrunk down trilogy. Except I don't think it has any of the individual acts have enough kind of meat to them to sustain a full-length feature. But there are worse things to do to write a script than to write 3 short films and string them together.
Which is actually what they did here. So this was originally a short film. Okay, this was a short
Good guess.
film.
Okay.
They took it to Pedro. I can't say his name.
Almodovar.
Almodovar.
Yeah.
Thank you. They took it to Pedro Almodovar's production
Also a
company,
famously transgressive director.
and they said,
Love his work.
"This is good, but we need a TV series." So they stretched it out and made a 3-episode TV series, and they said, "This is great. Why don't you make it a movie?" So they squashed it down to make a movie.
That
is literally
explains
the-
quite a bit.
That actually
Yeah.
that balances another equation, is what
It
Give
happens.
me your
does.
3 acts. too,
That
because
actually
you got-
explains just as much for this movie as the same explanation for Mulholland Drive and why I didn't like it.
You
Oh,
didn't like Mulholland
have you ever
Drive?
seen the pilot version?
Jenner, we've had this conversation at length.
It's been
Yeah,
a
but I
while.
He wants to discuss
It's
it again.
well tread territory. I
Yeah.
feel like that project is a bunch of missing threads. It's not a whole picture. It's not a whole self. It's underbaked, and I want more out of it, which is what was intended with the film. It wasn't a film. It was a TV show. And I feel the same way about this movie. The rape aside, which really does make me feel uncomfortable about the film. That aside, the characters were interesting enough in the first 25 minutes that I was ready to follow them for 2 hours. That's how fleshed out they felt, like how they felt like real characters. And then we end up with a guy who killed all his friends for no reason but money. And it turns out the whole terrorist organization is just nothing. It's bullshit. And then we get a character who is essentially just Stockholm Syndrome the character and has nothing else to her.
So this is why I actually mentioned Carolina Bang earlier, and this is not going to make you want to watch any of the rest of Alex de Iglesias' films. This is going to be a bit of a long walk to get there.
That's okay.
Have any of you seen the original Bedazzled? Peter Cook and Dudley Moore.
Yes.
Okay.
Not for a long time, but yes.
I will
In
agree.
that
I was
film-
like 12.
In that film, there is a point where Dudley Moore encounters the personification of the 7 deadly sins, or a couple of them. He encounters envy, and specifically he encounters lust, who is
Raquel Welch. Yeah.
Now, I had read this before I saw the movie, so I was prepared for it. I'm like, okay, Raquel Welch is going to show up, and Raquel Welch is going to be the sin of lust. And I had certain expectations in line here, and they were completely controverted because I was expecting seductive, lounging in lingerie, however you want to imagine the sin of lust. And instead, she almost attacks Dudley Moore in this sort of frantic nature, just all over the place at once. And that is what I think of when I see Carolina Bang in any of Alex de Iglesias' films, which is why I think of her here, because the character of Patricia in this film is like a proto Carolina Bang and what she did in the later Alex de Iglesias films. And she is extraordinarily over sexualized. And in this case, it's played off as Stockholm syndrome. But if you see The Last Circus, her character, it's and again it's very culturally influenced, but she is very promiscuous, and it is not really tarred. It's just the way she is, and she is a sex symbol star because of it. And I can see the proto form of that in Patricia in this film, which is why I can readily buy that she somehow tricked all of those guys into getting tied up onto the bed and she goes out the door without them ever laying a finger on her. Now, that's entirely my context. It's entirely me and my reading of the film. It may be totally illegitimate as a result. But that's why I said there were two things that you had to understand about Alex de Iglesias in order to sort of comprehend the film as we go into it. That and his Basque heritage.
Fair enough.
And I think that's all
I
I
need
had
to see
say.
more Della Iglesia. I've been piling up Della Iglesia for ages. I have not seen nearly as much as I have. I need to get back to work on that.
So you haven't actually seen Witching and Bitching, or you have?
No, I have not. I've had a copy of it, like an actual DVD of it, for an exceedingly long time, but somehow I keep not getting to it.
Okay. I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to land more on Nate's side of the fence than mine on that film in particular.
Well, I'll give it a look. I'll tell you what I think. I'll call that my homework for the next episode, the little side project.
There's a very Stockholm-ish moment in the film that is unbelievable in any but a filmic context. So, make of that what you will.
Shane,
I'll bear that in mind.
Shane, Jane, we have not heard from you in a little bit. Anything to add?
No, not to this.
Not really.
I do want to sum up Avatar 2.
Oh, we still have to do Avatar.
Look,
Fuck.
let's just
Go
do it
ahead.
in one sentence. What would give me a sentence about Avatar 2, and we'll see.
Okay. It was too long. Absolutely gorgeous. The last 30 minutes were exhilarating. Getting there was kind of a slog. Beautiful world. Very formulaic.
Okay, and I'm going to go with it was pandering young adult claptrap.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, but it was all about the kids. And you have your magical girl who's in touch with the goddess.
Played by Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, I've got one.
That was brilliant. I liked that. She looked good. She was cute. She was cute as hell. But it was all about the kids.
It was just interstitial as hell.
They were so much better and smarter than the adults, and they were in trouble, and they were working it out to get fuck that shit. I was so over it. And I did love the whole. I think I remember Shane saying something about them never saying unobtainium again, and that was fantastic.
Yeah,
I laughed at that, but I was completely horrified that they were like sucking the brains out of these whales.
What you're gonna say, Shane?
I've got one sentence about this. Jermaine Clement with no accent. What the fuck?
But the other guy has one.
What? It was so weird. I kept thinking, is that Jermaine Clement? No,
He's also the majority of his shots. He's in the background. He's in like two featured shots.
It was him, but it was him.
What was the point? Why? Why cast somebody who arguably has some level of stardom at this point
and talent? Here's about buckets of talent, and then
checking a box for the Kiwi market. I don't know.
Do you know why? Do you know why though? Because he was an adult. He couldn't be good. He couldn't be like entirely cool and good. You had only the young guy.
Well,
and see, here I am. I'm like, oh, we're going back. We're going to see Jake. We're going to see Naturi. It's going to be fuck this shit.
Also, he kind of sounds naturally sarcastic, or like when he's using his voice, he's very monotone. And I can imagine him saying something like the harpoon line, but as but as his actual self would sound fucking hilarious.
It probably would.
What is the harpoon line?
Oh God, what is it? The guy says, we control the harpoon, we control her, and then starts laughing before they kill a mother space Navi whale,
whale.
and her calf.
Okay.
And then Jermaine Clement is on a boat with the guy near the end of the movie where another whale has grabbed hold of it, and Jermaine Clement's like, "Who's got hold of the thing now?" And it's very flat, and you're like, "Okay, that's fine." But if it were his accent, God, that would have been so. It would have taken me out of the movie. I will say that. But it would have been hilarious.
Don't cast him in that role. Like,
yeah,
it's just a weird casting either way.
They were kind of like, oh, hey, we can get Jermaine Clement. Where can we stick him in? But we can't make him too cool because he's an adult.
And I want a Jermaine Clement Navi. That would be amazing. With
yes.
the eyebrows and the lips.
But using his accent.
Yeah,
I mean, the movie is about the Maori people. That's like Maoru people. That's what he based the Navi on. So you'd think that getting somebody from actual New Zealand would do something, but no, he just fucking wasted it. Unless the movie was 4.5 hours long and his entire character ended up getting sliced out. That's possible with James Cameron.
That is possible.
Because
but
this
he was the tortured.
We assume there's a lot of this picture that we haven't seen.
Well, he was the tortured scientist. You know, the guy that was kind of there under protest. He knew what he was doing was wrong,
but he did it anyway.
Yeah,
he was a Nazi scientist.
Fuck! I didn't care for it much. It was beautiful, and
I
liked the whales, and I liked the baby Sigourney Weaver, and but
it was interstitial as hell.
The world building is great. Yeah. That's some hell of a world building. If you like a movie with world building and beautiful visuals and no plot whatsoever that matters or is consequential in any way, where
Sam Worthington's career continues.
Yes, the only thing that Sam Worthington is doing now, a movie that Kate Winslet forgot she made before it was released.
She was in that.
I took quite a while to figure out who the hell she was even playing in the movie in the first place.
Yeah,
I knew she was there. I knew she was there. I was looking for her, and I'm still not sure.
She was
she was the aquatic young adult.
I think so.
She was the wife of the leader of the water people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The medicine woman lady.
I saw her first came out. It's been a long time.
The pregnant lady.
The lady. The head water lady. Basically.
And apparently she broke a record for motion capture underwater at almost 7 minutes. She held her breath.
In a take?
Yeah.
Which is funny because one of
their breath for 7 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, the holding your breath for an insanely long time is one of those weird plot points that comes and goes in the movie. Like at a lot of critical moments, people forget that you can do this for like a half an hour. We've seen you do it, like in this movie, for like a half an hour.
Yeah, you don't need. Yeah.
No cuts.
You don't need those butterfly things.
Just hanging out underwater.
You don't need the oxygen fairy wings. So
I don't know.
They look great. They look great.
I feel like James Cameron is just doing whatever he wants now, and it's kind of just, I don't know if he's not half-assing because he's whole half-assing and a half like he always does. But I don't understand how the man who made Terminator and Aliens.
Why is he so obsessed with this story?
Why would he ever write the word unobtainium down and think that would pass? Why?
It was a reference to the core.
But everybody laughed at
was it?
So he completely cut it out.
It was a reference / lift from the core.
I think you told me that too.
Okay, you know what? Don't make a reference to a movie nobody liked or watched.
That movie was underrated. It was fun.
So
I stand by what I said.
According to MST3K, in talking about Overdrawn at the Memory Bank, never put a good movie in your bad movie. I think the converse also applies. Don't put a
I
bad
can-
movie in your good movie.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I mean, I just wanted to get back to Alita too. He's mentioned that he's going into
Yeah.
pre-production on that. That's all I care about. I don't give a shit about Avatar
Yeah.
Fire people or
But,
whatever.
and what are they fighting? They are now fighting for two things. Not unobtainium. They are fighting for Earth is dying, and we're going to change the atmosphere and kill everything on the planet that is lush and beautiful, so that we can live here.
God.
Even there's another planet right like 10 feet away, and like it's right there. It's closer than our moon, and they could just go there and fuck that up. But no, they need this one little thing. But the reason they're all getting funding is because here's the MacGuffin. And the MacGuffin is wow. Apparently, the whales, who are intelligent enough to have mathematics and philosophy
And art.
and composing music, apparently, if you shove a needle in their brain in the specific place, you will get some juice, like a little canister of juice, that if a human takes it, will stop the aging process entirely.
Yeah.
And he's like, this has got to be worth 80 million. I'm like, that's worth way more than that. Like, you've stopped aging.
Well, remember that the Nostromo was 42 million in adjusted dollars. Strictly speaking, Cameron has, and also Aliens supposedly cost $18 million. Cameron has a way of undercounting his arithmetic.
Yeah, that's true. That is funny. No, I like that they changed it, but
Maybe there was a period of massive deflation that simply hasn't been documented between now and LV 426.
Anyway, I thought the movie was fine. Too long. I like the last half hour.
It's interstitial. I didn't feel my time was wasted. At the same time, I didn't feel like my experience of the world was greatly enriched.
I thought it was decreased, and I also just felt
it's
insulted.
like its predecessor. It's
As
fine.
an old lady, I felt insulted.
I feel like I regret 1 hour of that I would like back. 1 hour.
I mean, to be fair, that hour I fell asleep several times, so I saw only half of it. I fell asleep a lot when they were the world building. I get it, but I also fell asleep multiple times during that whole segment.
I actually do have to
say that I fell asleep watching Ahsoka this week.
Yeah, I fell asleep in the theater watching this.
I haven't started
Ahsoka is an interesting plot and it's an interesting script, but they take a long beat between any two lines of dialogue. It is a weird way to perform and edit the thing.
That's called
leaving that aside. Actually, one thing I did love about Avatar: The Way of Water is when the first time that we encounter the whales and there's that exchange in dialogue subtitles, it presents as a gag, but it turns out to be the absolute core of the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was amusingly done.
I really like the whales.
I did too.
I mean, I would have been fine with no Jake Sully and no Stephen Lang and their whole story.
I would have liked more of that and less of the kids.
I've heard Jake's gonna die in the next one, or he won't.
Oh
even
God,
be in
we
it.
hope so.
But no, you killed two things with that. You killed Jake Sully and Sam Worthington's career. That's really sad.
Yeah, but he's made his money. He's in fucking 2 Avatar movies.
Yeah, but they're arguing over residuals now because apparently they don't give residuals for streaming, which is bullshit.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah,
barely. Yeah. No, it's bad. That's it. That's a whole nother hour-long conversation.
Yeah.
And I gotta go to the bathroom soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with the strikers. I'm part of that industry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anybody have anything left they want to say? Are we doing Beau is Afraid?
Yeah.
I think it's up to you, Nate. I'll watch.
It's up to you.
I will watch it.
I've already seen it.
I promised my friend Jamie I would watch it. I might have him on the show.
Okay.
Cool. All right.
I will try to get my internet connection fixed by then.
Okay.
I worry because the family conflict portrayed struck me, although it's hyperbolic, it struck me as possibly incredibly accurate. I'm lucky in that I have never experienced such a thing.
Well,
But
if both parents are emotionally abusive in a way that
only one.
distances only one, okay, that makes sense.
There is only one parent, sort of.
Oh,
Sort of.
okay. That would be a nightmare for me. If the only one that was left was the narcissist. Ugh.
Narcissistic, emotionally abusive. I mean, that pretty much summarizes the character.
No,
So
I'm ready. I'm gonna gird my loins. I told Jamie I would watch this. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I do want to say one last thing. I started a new podcast that has been going on for years. Years and years. No, I'm not making a podcast. I'm listening to one.
Oh,
This
You're
is
abandoning us?
yes.
So you
Bye,
They
everybody.
haven't grown so disenchanted with us already.
Oh.
No, I started
Accion
listening.
Mutante was the final straw.
I started listening to a podcast called Dead Pilot Society. Have you heard of that, Shane?
no, it's a cool title though.
Oh, Wagner
title.
has. It's
I know what it's
where
about.
it's where the first half of the show they get writers, comedians, different people who've written pilots that haven't come to pass. They talk about their pilot, why it didn't come to be, what they were intending with it, all the stuff that went behind it. And then the second half of the show, they do a table read of it. So you get to actually hear
cool.
the entire episode mostly with the actors and the creators, which is a lot of fun because the John Hodgman episode, which is episode 2, I think, apparently he had a show about called Only Child, in which he is it was very
I
ahead
love
of its
Hodgman.
it was very ahead of its time because it takes place when he's like 12 years old, and all of the kids are cast as with kids with actual 12-year-olds except for John Hodgman, which
I
is
can't-
actually
I can't
done in Pen 15 now, but he had the idea way back when, and it is brilliant. It's so much fun to listen to because it would have been a really fun show, and sometimes it's just dumb shit that doesn't get these things made. They did the first episode is Thomas Lennon and another guy from the state. They did a show called Formosa, which takes place in the 30s.
Robert Ben Garant.
Yeah, they always went together.
Yeah, yeah.
Ben Garant.
They wrote a script about these two 1930s, late 30s pornographers. And the first
Oh, I would have
episode,
loved to have seen that.
the first episode has oh god, what the fuck's her name? Gone with the Wind, not Scarlet.
Vivian Lee.
Not
No.
Scarlet.
Oh, Olivia de Havilland.
No.
Keep going.
Mammy?
Oh, fuck. No, maybe it
Gone with the
wasn't.
Wind.
That was Olivia de
What?
Havilland? Oh god, what's it? No, O'Sullivan. Margaret O'Sullivan? Margaret Sullivan?
Maureen O'Sullivan.
Yes, there. There you go.
Jane from the Tarzan movies.
Yeah, there you go, Jane.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I don't know. I got my wires crossed there. No, she's they've hired her to be in a nudie picture called Ophelia.
Okay.
But then they've borrowed money from the Mexican mafia, who is the cousin of one of the guy's wives, and immediately they give their $2,000 they get from them to Maureen O'Sullivan. That was it,
Yeah.
right? Give it to her. And then they can't find her, and within 12 hours, they go to her hotel room and find her dead, naked in the bathtub with a syringe hanging out of her arm. And the concept...
I don't think that happened to Maureen O'Sullivan.
You have to listen to the whole episode. It's brilliant. It's a really smart comedy, and it's a lot of fun to listen to these shows because they're all a lot of fun. And I highly recommend this program to all of you.
We'll have to give that a look. Yeah.
Okay.
I, mean,
Well,
thi-
listen. I could say.
I will try to add it to the increasing list of podcasts I follow.
Yeah.
I can only handle one at a time. Well, I guess two right
Oh.
now. Triple Click and that. That's
I'm
all
up to
I've
over
got.
3 dozen.
Oh
So
my god! I don't spend a lot of
most,
time.
a lot of them
with
have died.
podcasting.
So
Oh,
yeah, I used to drive a lot.
Mm.
And just to sign off, I have to say that the only good harpoon line in any film ever was from Smash Cut. And she says, "Where'd you get the harpoon? Where did you get the harpoon? Harpoon store." That's it. For some reason, that is what I think of whenever people say the harpoon line.
All right, that's gonna do it for us here on What's on the Pile.
That's what we end on.
Absolutely. Please
Oh,
don't
yeah.
forget to like and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook. You can visit our website, whatsonthepile.com, and do all sorts of fun things. Come along, say hi, chat with us. Thanks.